losing fans is one thing, but like treating them this way, it sends a message to like all fans that when push comes to shove, the decision being made, if it's not in your best interest, that doesn't really matter.
We are joined by our buddy on the FT roster, Trevor May, with a dope background, by the way. But Trevor,
is that Sacramento? Is that Sacramento?
That's a troll background.
Yeah, I'm coming from the first base camera well in Sacramento. Here already. Surprise.
I mean, really? The River Cats are going to give it up for the A's?
Didn't Sacramento almost lose their NBA team?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that was.
You know the history there, Trevor? So they almost lost their team, right?
I mean, it was discussed. Yeah, it was. I don't know how close it got, but yeah, they were discussing Sacramento just not having any teams for anything. But now they're going to have a professional baseball team too in that stadium. Enjoy, guys.
Years.
By the way,
stadium.
So, by the way, I don't know if it's changed, but when I was there, I played there over 20 years ago. There was a building in the outfield that like had a gold windows, and you couldn't see shit in that place.
Gold windows. What would be why would you do that? That building's still there.
Because it was an office building. It was like across the street. I think it was in right field or left field, but it was like the sun would set and it would hit those gold windows, and you're hitting and you're going, I can't see anything for like 3
Great place to pitch.
Yeah.
You need some help in California sometimes. So,
jeez. So 7 o'clock game.
Yeah.
First hour. Can't see that
Couldn't see nothing. Nothing. It was awful.
They usually play games at 7.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right. I mean, you can see the sun setting if he's in the first base camera well, right? Like, look at where the sun is setting. Yeah. So in right field, there was like I don't know if it's still there. Again, I don't know if it's still there, but it was awful.
Well, I know one thing. If it's there, John Fisher's not going to pay for something to block it. You're going to have to live with it for 3-4 years and an hour. So, Trevor, obviously, thanks for joining us right off the top here.
Yes.
When you see this news, what's the first thing that comes to mind as someone that was just on this team last year? And obviously, you know most of the guys that are currently on the team that will be hopping around to Sacramento starting next year.
Honestly, to be entirely honest, if I were on the team right now, I'd just be happy to know what the hell is going on now. I can make a decision. I could know kind of, unpredictability, the uncertainty of playing baseball just is one of the worst parts sometimes. And so at least some of the young guys are like, hey, it's only an hour and 20 away north. So it's not a huge difference. You're in the same state. Hopefully there's probably some guys that'll commute a little bit or maybe have a house. I mean, nobody has a house, honestly, on the team, but it's at least it's not a crazy change. And a lot of those guys have been in AAA recently or up and down. So they're like, I've spent a lot of time there too. So it's not like an alien place that like no one's ever been or played baseball. So, and honestly, the pitchers get to avoid like having to go to Salt Lake or something. We don't need a second Colorado. So I at least from a baseball standpoint, you can have an idea what's going on. So maybe it's a little bit positive in that way, but outside of that, like, you were in the big leagues, you're all pumped, and now you're like, well, am I in the big leagues? Am I in the big leagues anymore? We'll see.
I don't know anything about this stadium, so I'm more asking from a visiting standpoint. Like, it's not, to me, I think Sacramento, from what I hear, decent little place to live. You don't have to worry about the traffic like San Fran. But what about visiting players? Does this place need an overhaul like Buffalo needed to get up to major league standards?
Oh, yeah. That's my biggest question. There's like a separate building out in left center where the locker rooms are. And there's no way. There's just simply no way currently as it is now. Buffalo was way better than this is in terms of space anyways. I mean, it may be a little bit older, Buffalo was, but like there was enough space to do these things. And there's just no space. I actually went there last year for an outing. And I was like, yeah, like this isn't ideal. I was right in the middle of everybody. I couldn't like, you can't. It's one of those places where you can't get dressed next to a guy. Mm-hmm. So like one of you has to leave, and then the other person's got to get dressed, and then you trade because there's just not enough. There's like not enough room for even the chairs to be in there. So guys are like putting their chairs off into the corner when they just, they don't need to sit there. And it was not ideal. No, not ideal. Not a lot of space for activities.
Trevor, luckily they're all a bunch of young guys mostly.
Yeah.
Right? If you're a veteran, you're like, man, Sacramento, like Oakland or Sacramento, or a locker where I can't get dressed. Like Kratz always talks about the Reading Fighting Phils, where you had to stack your shoes on top of each other because the locker wasn't wide enough for you to actually put your shoes on flat on the ground. I mean, is this kind of situation? Or, I mean, they're going to – how much money do you think they're going to have to spend in order to make this happen? Because it's crazy.
In terms of that, like how much money it'll cost, I don't know, but I think we're all pretty confident that it's going to be whatever the bare minimum is to check the boxes that are in the CBA, probably, because it's going to need some.
Are we talking trailers? Hey, are they bringing in trailers? Like, are they going to bring in like trailer?
Portables like you did in elementary school? I was in a
portable or like
in
the minor leagues. Some places had trailers, right? Like literally track trailers for clubhouses.
Yep.
Like they had those in Bowie once. They had that New Britain for a minute.
Hey, don't talk bad about New Britain.
Oh, I'm a Rock Pat for life, man. Even when they burned the batting cage down and then they didn't rebuild it, I still was a ride or die. They got to. That's kind of the best solution for these things. I mean, you know how it works. Like getting like construction done and like in the winter, like it's just not something that happens quickly or well usually. So they're gonna have to expand somehow. It might be like a double locker room situation. They might put the pitchers on one side. We might have a COVID situation where they split everybody up. They've done it. It's happened. They have to do that. They have to do it. But that would be not ideal, especially if you're there for 4 days. Like you're like, oh my God, get me out of here. And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of that. But in terms of playing surface, though, I will say it was a nice playing surface. I did think the field was well maintained and well put together. So there's that.
So since we can't get Steven vote, we have to ask the second favorite A's from the fan base. Are the fans going to come out to games in Sacramento?
Oh,
because it's like a novelty. Like it's a novelty, and they're great fans.
They are phenomenal fans, and now it's an hour away. You're gonna get Sacramento fans. Now, I don't know how the team there now draws. It wasn't crazy when I was there, but it also was kind of early and kind of cold, so I couldn't really get a gauge on it. It wasn't like empty, but. Yeah, I think the diehards will go because it's still close enough. Like you're close enough to the Bay, which is a positive. But I think the entire situation, just like it's such a slap in the face for it to be an hour away. Like you're gonna move and you're gonna be that close to where I could still go, but it's still just like harder. Like I don't know if it might just be a little bit too much. So we'll see. I know there's a lot of people who are not going, but are being very loud about it because that's really the only tool they have in their toolbox to make it heard that they're not very happy. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. But like I think this is just the first domino to fall. Like now it's real now. It's real now, and I'm feeling for the people in Oakland.
Do we know what's going to happen to the actual AAA team? Are they trying to do like a alternating schedule, or are they completely out of the stadium for this time?
That I have no idea. So that's really interesting. I actually did a search real quick and it's kind of muddy in the details. Like this whole situation has been the whole time. But like what happens, it's weird too, because it's the Giants AAA team. So like, are they getting displaced? Are they like, hey, you guys figure it out. We got a big league team in town now. I don't know how that works. I don't even know what power the owner of the GM of the stadium there has to do things like that. And just like I don't know how the deal works or the contract they have. So I would assume there's probably a little bit of that. It would really, really suck for the AAA team to have to like do a majority road trip schedule now because there's another team kind of butting in on their situation. And it's hard enough, right? In the PCL, imagine having to fly constantly and just be on the road for the most of the season. That sounds like maybe the worst thing ever.
Scott, Trevor. Eric doesn't understand that because he was only in the other league, the PCL. I was a PCL guy, right? I was in Salt Lake with the Twins. I get it. The American Association or whatever they call that, less of a league over there on the other side of the coast. I was a PCL guy, so Eric doesn't understand that, how much travel is involved. We were going from Vancouver to New Orleans, playing a game, right? So listen, just ignore Eric. Okay, my question is, is they drew 5,100 2 nights ago in Oakland, and they drew 6,400. Now listen, 6,400, 5,999 were Red Sox fans. Are they going to outdraw them in Sacramento? Do you think they can beat 6,000 a night in Sacramento?
It's going to be interesting because, like I said, it's real now. There's going to be a group of fans that are just like, I'm done. And then there's going to be a group of fans like, all right, now we have a new team. And to see how that balances out is going to be interesting. But I don't think they're going to get more than that, at least at the beginning. By no fault of anybody wearing a uniform anywhere. It's going to come down to like Sacramento's close enough to where they're aware of John Fisher and the things he's doing and the reasons that the team's there. And I doubt that's going to really jazz anybody up in that area to like go have a new team they like, I don't think that's something they're gonna be like, finally, we got what we wanted. I don't see that happening.
Trevor, I remember you told me how the team gifted everyone free boots from Gap.
Best boots I ever owned. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they are going to be worth something one day, at least for the Hall of Fame, because of this whole storyline. What do you think is going to happen today when the players enter the ballpark?
That's a good one. I didn't think about that. Ooh, what kind of present we're gonna get? I didn't go look at the cap table, guys. I didn't look at the net worth and what other companies he owns. So I don't know what other consumer product that he can go grab from warehouse and give to people.
Cologne?
Let's
Gap
go with
cologne?
hats. I make cologne, or maybe it's just a bunch of like San Jose Earthquakes gear. That'd be pretty cool.
True. I'm not selling enough, so let me bring that in for anyone that doesn't know. He owns them. He's doing a great job there. Sarcasm. So I have a couple other questions. One is with the players and the players union, do you think going forward they need to put something stricter in the CBA that essentially says we're not playing in minor league parks if you have your battle with cities over tax dollars anymore? Because this could happen again, and what's going to happen. It sucks for the players. The side note is on Fair Territory earlier, Ken Rosenthal was talking about it. The team's promising they're going to get the payroll up to like mid 100s or whatever the number is. Good luck signing guys right now over the next few years to get to that number. That's what they'll say. Oh, we couldn't get to the number we promised because guys won't sign here. So do you think something needs to change from the other half of the gate holders of the game?
Yeah, absolutely. I there are some things in there in this, but again, like that was like pre-precedent. This hadn't happened in this way yet. And that's how these things it has to happen first and then you adjust. That is a big thing with the PA. They're always trying to avoid setting precedents, like giving the commissioner powers that he can then use later for some other situation, using that as a precedent. So you want to avoid that. And you don't want this to set a precedent like, oh, we can just do this whenever a team wants to move. We have a strategy that works fine, and the players just accepted it. So yeah, there needs a lot of noise made. It needs to be addressed. This needs to go on the list because we're halfway through CBA already, almost. So it's like getting they're starting to figure out what they're going to yell about next time, and this should probably be on there. It probably won't be on the top. There's a lot of other things that are going to be discussed, i.e. free agency, but like. This is in there. We got to make sure that the guys are being taken care of, at least from are we putting them in the best position to be the best version of themselves, so that baseball's still the point. Like baseball still needs to be the point, and I think we're losing that thread more and more often these days, where it's just kind of an afterthought. Like the guys actually having to play the game. It could be maybe factored into decision making, just like a little bit more. So I think definitely something that should be addressed.
That makes sense, since, without the game, we wouldn't have any of this. So It would be nice to honor the game, since that's what started all of this. It makes too much sense. But I want to finish with this. Your thoughts on Oakland and their fan base. Now they lose another team. This doesn't seem like it had to go this way. I did enough research over the years now at this point on Howard Terminal and other ownership options and what this group had in mind for years. You got to spend some time inside of it. What is your kind of like final big picture thought on baseball ditching the city of Oakland, which is a large, diverse city, and thinking that tons of fans there, and young ball players that like playing baseball are suddenly just going to say, screw it, I'm a Giants fan, or it's okay. You know, I just think you're losing a massive, massive amount of fans in a sport that isn't existing in the 80s anymore, right? Like there's so much competition. I don't think we can afford to take PR hits like this and think like, oh, it's fine. Baseball will still be at the top. It's not at the top. It's not the biggest sport in America.
Yeah, it's not going to help. Losing fans is one thing, but like treating them this way it sends a message to like all fans that when push comes to shove, the decision being made is not going to be probably, if it's not in your best interest, that doesn't really matter. And it's going to be in my best interest as the person who owns everything. That is not great. I understand the big games of business. Everyone knows. We've heard that 1,000 times. It's the ace and hole that everyone just throws in your face every time anything shady happens or someone gets screwed. But at some point, it's entertainment. It's boiled down to its simplest form. I've always said this. I'm out there and I'm just trying to like make people feel stuff. That's literally all it is. Whether it's mad at me or excited of what happened or whatever, both of those things are adding value. It's making it fun to watch. It's tense. That's the point. And that has to continue to be the point. You got to be giving. You want to be. The goal should always be give the customer something that they'll enjoy. And if you're saying we're going to just take things away from you because financially it makes more sense for me, then like what all fans feel like their team's on the table. It could be if circumstances are correct. So it is not helpful for the game to do these things, especially the way it's being done, as disorganized and frankly just embarrassing at times. The fact that they even got to an actual deal is fairly surprising at this point. I thought it was just going to be something that's been bantered around all the time for the next 3 years. Just keep places, which is obviously still on the table, could happen. But yeah, I wish that fans were factored in a little bit more. I wish they were just talked to. Maybe someone looked them in the eyes and said, "Hey, I get it. I'm really sorry, and I wish there was a better way, but this is this way it is." And it was owned, but it's just not being owned, and that doesn't bode well. If we're talking about people not watching baseball anymore, you should probably handle these things better, because this might be the worst thing you could possibly do if you want fans to believe that you're giving them the best product that you can give them.
Yeah, it's called PR. It's existed for a long time now.
Yeah,
it's pretty simple. So yeah, it sucks. It's a sad day for the city. Thank you, dude, for joining us right at the top here. And we'll catch you on an FT show soon. All right.
All right. Sounds good. Take it easy, guys. Have a good show.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Trevor.
Go River Cats.
Yeah, Trevor May reporting live
from River Cats.
Camberwell. From the
that
River Cats, Camberwell.
Yeah, that green screen is on point. Bad look, though. I mean, we can talk about it for a minute here, too. I mean, okay, they're moving an hour away. This is the pathway, Kratz, for them to get to Vegas. But it's not just an Oakland problem. It's not eventually going to be a Sacramento problem. It's not even just a Vegas problem, unless this dude somehow sells. It's a baseball problem. It's real. It's a baseball problem. I just want to make sure that people understand we're not Oakland A's territory. We're foul territory. We're covering all ground in baseball. It's, we cover all 30 teams, but I think this affects the sport. And that's why it's become, such a story that we cover every day, or not every day, but almost every day, because it's a walking PR nightmare and it's embarrassing.
Where's the midway point in this whole thing? Where's the midway point? I think one extreme is John Fisher, you have to sell. Well, I mean, if you have a successful business that is going to become more successful, and somebody comes to me and is like, hey, you have to sell your business because I don't like the way you're running it. That's probably too extreme. And
is he successful, though? But is he successful? He's not successful.
And he says he's poor. I don't have any money. This place can't fund us.
He's successful?
At the end of selling his business, we're just talking about a business entity. At the end of selling his business, is he going to make money?
Of course he is, and this is the baseball problem, right? So if you're an owner, you want to be profiting every year off everything that you're doing. And then even when you buy real estate, take the hit, then siphon it off to a separate company, and then the team is, equal or maybe losing a little bit of money, but everything you own around the ballpark's making money, but you still say the team is losing money and you're going to sell the team for 10x eventually. Like, uncle, enough. Like, what do you need? And then publicly you're saying we don't have enough money. Can't support the team with a payroll even close to what would be needed to compete. We need to take money from other owners. This isn't even just a problem for everybody but the billionaires. The big market teams are complaining. They just don't do it publicly. You know, the 10, 15 teams that make money, that try harder than others, are pissed because they're sharing money to a guy that is crooked as hell.
But what I'm saying is, like, where's the midpoint? Where is the midpoint? Because where John Fisher's happy because he gets to keep his business, Major League Baseball grows because he is actually putting a competitive product out on the field. He's actually employing enough people in his minor leagues, in his analytical department, to run a organization that is going to win. Like, every single corner he is cutting. So that's the one side. Where's the other side? Like, where are we at in the middle where everybody can be happy? And to me, the 29 other owners or the representatives of the other owners are the ones that need to step up and say something, because it's constantly coming out of their pocket. And I don't even know that Oakland's revenue sharing is anywhere close to where it's going to be when they move to Vegas, because the revenue sharing is going to be through the roof when they move to Vegas, because it's now a small market. Yeah.
They're not allowed to talk publicly, though. That's the part that changes, right? When there's a problem within one side, you know, there's two stakeholders, right, in baseball, right? You have the owners and the players, if we're simplifying things. If there's a problem with players, there's a ton of them. Stories get out because there's a ton of them, right? There's a problem with owners. It's 30 dudes sitting in a board meeting. They talk it out. And then once they're done, they come out of the room and say, we're all happy. We agree 30-0 on everything. It's just how they've set things up. It's all for labor negotiations. But the point is, I know there are owners that have brought up a lot of things that are concerning to them about this situation that hurts their brand, but it gets talked about behind the scenes. It never gets publicized. Have you heard one stakeholder talk about this?
Nope.
No. That's all. And it's like some people in chat going, this could be your team. Could be anyone's team. Just about. Owner doesn't get what he wants. You're allowed to move your team. Isn't that true?
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, apparently. You can do whatever you want. They're not going to stop you.
No, because you're an owner. And you're not going to get voted down because they're worried they'll get voted down for something they want.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad situation. It's bad. Bad for the game.
But at least they're still in the Bay Area.
Right. For now. But only for a few years.
Sacramento's not the Bay Area, Rowdy.
Oh, at least they're in the area for now. Do you think Oakland fans are going to go to games there?
I wouldn't go to those games. I'd be like, dude, they don't go to the games now. That's what I asked Trevor May. Dude, there was 5,100. Well, 4,900 were Red Sox fans.
Yes.
I mean, there were 6,400 at the game yesterday. 5,900 were Red Sox fans. There was no A's fans. I want to see when they play the
Pirates.
Trying to
Mariners?
think of Pirates, Mariners, anybody. Royals, Twins, White Sox. When they play the White Sox, let me look at the attendance. See how many fans there are.
You know how we showed that memo the other day? They might be like, you know what? It's not even worth printing the memo today. Let me just go talk to a few of the employees that are here and tell them what to say to the few fans that enter the ballpark.
There might be some layoffs.
Might be what?
Some layoffs.
Oh, well, that is a factor, right? There are probably people within the org that are going to lose their jobs.
I already said that, I thought.
Yeah.
I thought when they said that they were moving to Sacramento, they already said
I think that was Casey Pratt's report, right? Or did they say it? Either way, it's going to happen, right? They're going to use people.
But if you work for the A's and they're moving to Sacramento, they're not going to move you.
No, they're not going to move you.
So are people are like ushers and all that going to be like, yeah, we're going to drive that far? No.
And they might just say, we don't want or need you anyway. We'll use the
River Cat ushers.
People. That might be part of the deal, if anything. You know, hey, we're going to use some of your employees.
I want to know how much
the expenses.
I want to know how much their Sportsnet money is, because you know that's what drove this. What was that? 66 million they were getting from Sportsnet?
70-ish, yeah.
70-ish. I want to know how much they're cutting, because there's no way they're going to be okay with, because Sacramento was outside of that whatever the region map that I first saw when they were talking about it. That's why I thought they were never going to move from Oakland.
It's, if I had to guess, I'll give you an over-under. 42.5.
Okay, I was going to say 15 million off.
Yeah, I think a little more than that.
NBC Sports California, I mean, why would they pay that?
They're not. That's why they said we're not paying that. And they were like, will you take a discount if we go to Sacramento? That's what happened. We didn't get the full details yet of the deal, but that is what happened.
Hey everybody, be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.